You're watching the SEC Big 12 Challenge. It's presented by Continental Tire, and the band is fired up. It's the SEC Big 12 Challenge number 2. Alabama coming in as arguably the best team in the country, even though they have a 2 in front of their name. And a couple years ago, they rode a 10-game win streak into the SEC Big 12 Challenge right here, and they got beat by the Sooners. That's Jimmy Dykes. I'm Carl Ravitch. This should be a really good one. Think about it. When you were back at Fayetteville High, you're killing it against the class. You're taking tests. Then you got to step out and take the SAT. This is the SAT. See how we're doing, right?
I like how you put it. It's a cross-reference check, exactly what it is on Saturday. This Alabama team, though, Ravi, they're for real. They're number 2 in the nation, maybe playing the best ball of anybody in college basketball. And they got a chance to have a special season. Oklahoma right now, they're struggling to find a quality win that says we belong in that NCAA tournament. And a massive opportunity right now for Porter Moser and his guys await.
But one of the best players in the country as a freshman is Brandon Miller. The comparisons to Kevin Durant and others are accurate.
Yeah, look at the numbers. I mean, he's tracking what only Kevin Durant has done over the last 30 years. And a special talent can make just a ton of wide open threes at the rate of about 63% actually when he's unguarded out there. He's a 6'9" 2 guard that really understands how to play. First of all, he's a high IQ kid. Has a beautiful release and rotation on his jump shot. But his running buddy right now in that backcourt, Mark Sears, Ravi, you could argue the most important transfer portal pickup in college ball this year. A combo guard has given Nate Oates another score on the perimeter. This Alabama team, and those two are classic, hard to guard.
Yeah, when we were kids, we used to go to the Sears department store. You could get anything you wanted. Sears does everything you want.
I like it.
On a basketball court. Alabama in white, Oklahoma in their dark grays. That's Brandon Miller. And the goal for Oklahoma today, don't get beat down the floor. Miller drew contact, threw it up, and he'll have his first 2 free throws. And Brandon Miller, the freshman, 6'9", 200, averaging 19.5 a game. That is the top freshman scorer in the nation.
And that drive is probably where he has grown the most over the last 5 or 6 weeks. His ability to finish at the rim now through contact is much better than he was early. That's a potent starting 5 that Nate Oates puts on the floor. A little bit of everything. Size, guard play, shot makers. Extremely talented. They're young.
Yeah. And that's 5 because they will give you 10 if you want them. They are as deep as they've been arguably in Alabama's basketball history. Meantime, Oklahoma 11-9, 2-6 in the conference. Porter Moser, of course, magical run to the Final Four with Loyola Chicago in 2018. Sends out Grant Sherfield. He's their offensive star. Milos Uzan is just a freshman. Jalen Hill, Jacob and Tanner Groves, the 2 brothers, both can shoot from the outside. And Bediako has down deep defense and double teamed. Miller nearly ripped it away. There's 5 on the shot clock for Hill, who backs his way in. And a high arcing fadeaway falls for Jalen Hill.
You have to just be able to go get a basket 3 or 4 times a game against Alabama's length, and a good job by Jalen Hill to find one late.
Nice screen from Bediako, and now Bradley. Too strong. Good defense that time. Holding his ground was Tanner Groves. Sherfield's been in a little offensive funk lately, and they'd like him to just contribute. If you're not making shots, help us on the floor. Body down, no foul called, and now we may get a flop warning. And that is exactly what we're getting.
They make the flop call to Tony Padilla. I think there's enough contact right there that's an offensive foul. Does the contact merit the reaction? And to me, it does. And Groves is not a guy that's going to score over the top of you. He's got to get an angle, and that lowering the shoulder, leading with the left shoulder. I don't agree with the call at all early on the road for Nate Oates' guys.
6'10", 240. If Tanner lowered the shoulder and Dykes was defending him, where would you end up?
You see the cheerleaders? See 7 rows behind them?
Yeah. That was a load into the chest of Bediako. And they get the flop call against Charles, and a good start for Oklahoma, up 5-2.
Oklahoma, that top 50, 60 defensive efficiency. Watch out.
Alley-oop, yep. Miller and Bediako work the 2-man game.
So hard to handle when the passer is 6'9", operating off that ball screen. Bediako, phenomenal for a 7-footer. Soft pause on the roll.
Alabama coming off a win over Mississippi State in which they went 5 of 28 from three-point land. Sherfield, he fires and finds the bottom.
That is his game, Grant Sherfield. Not a great three-point shooter, but he is a star in the mid-range pull-up.
They got another opportunity, and that time cutting underneath Bediako was Tanner Groves. He'll get the foul called against him.
Ravi, I talked about Brandon Miller as a handler off that ball screen. He's 6'9", so the pass is going to be just whenever he wants it over the top of you. And Groves has to step up and leaves Bediako free for a rim run.
Miller baseline. That's Groves who came over to block it. He is their leading shot blocker. It's not something that they do very often, but he is the guy. And he picks up his first. Sherfield, long three. That's way off to the right. Offensive rebound. Another thing that they don't do very well. They don't do very often. They are not a good rebounding team, but Groves is motivated today to start this one.
And to my point about Sherfield, about a 30% career three-point shooter, only shooting 24% in Big 12 play from distance. But he is so good at that elbow mid-range jump shot. Good dribble hold by Miller. Man, does he know how to play the game.
And he created an easy shot. The shoe fell off of Jalen Hill, so he picked up his shoe. Miller picked up 2 points.
A 6'9" guard that understands, get the defender behind you, go to the dribble hold action, free up yourself for a jumper.
Jacob Groves, good hands by Sears, who came over to help out. Miller again finds himself in the paint. He has held on to it and created open shots. That one off the back iron.
Yeah, maybe took it one bounce too deep. I mean, he was wide open at the 12-foot mark.
He can shoot the three, and he will. And bury it. Great start. Tanner Groves scored only 2 points in that blowout loss to TCU.
He is a key guy for Oklahoma today in that pick and pop action.
Yeah, he came over to bother that shot by Sears. Sherfield thought about it. Groves behind the back. That's good hands that time underneath. I think Clowney got a hand on it. Sears will fire a three. That's too strong, but a strong shot, long rebound.
Alabama's going to shoot 28 to 33-point shots per game. And Oklahoma has to answer those long rebounds that they just didn't clean up.
Groves again with a block on Miller. Cross court, Sherfield. Uzon. Count it! 13-6 Sooners, and a great start for Porter Moser's team.
Just what Oklahoma wanted, to run when they had the numbers opportunistically. Man, the three ball has ignited Lloyd Noble early.
We're going to get a foul on Bediako. And all of a sudden, Lloyd Noble has shown up, and they have stood up.
Yeah, Boomer Sooner off and running. Brandon Miller again gets met at the rim and doesn't finish. And Jalen Hill very confidently brings that ball up. They find the backside in their transition game. And Milos Uzon and Boomer Sooner up by a touchdown early.
Very good shooting so far for Oklahoma's offense. They are 2 of 3 from three-point land. It's interesting when you think about where Oklahoma is with that 2-6 mark and their overall 11-9. Jimmy, they have been in very close games. They haven't been able to win them, but they've come against some of the best competition in the country.
Man, absolutely they have. They've had their last possession games that have not gone their direction. And a massive opportunity for Oklahoma right now to say we got a resume win against the #2 team in the country. And can they continue to play at the pace? And Oklahoma in the last 3 losses, Ravi, they haven't gotten above 60 points. They've got to get offense today against a high-powered Alabama team.
The Porter Moser style. Obviously, we know what he did with Loyola Chicago and some magical runs and great success. Translating that to a power conference school, how long does it take, and how is that going so far?
Well, he's got to get faster athletes in order to compete with the high-level teams, not only in the Big 12, but moving to the SEC. He's got his system in place. They run phenomenal half-court sets. They're not great off the bounce because of that lack of overall team speed. So they have to do it collectively. They don't have a star, in my opinion. Sherfield's the closest guy to it. But, man, they have played good team basketball so far on both ends.
Bediako's got 2 points. He's got 1 foul on him as we're underway here. Hill with 2 points. Uzon's got 3. Sherfield's got 3. And Tanner Groves has got 5. 13-6 as we are in a timeout here at Lloyd Noble. For the Alabama Crimson Tide, Jimmy, they come in. I don't want to say that there's disrespect. This tournament and the matchups are set. But if you look at Alabama in the last couple of years, it's almost as if they should be playing the Kentuckys of the world. They should be playing the Texases. No disrespect to Oklahoma, but those are the marquee matchups. And Alabama's the marquee team in this conference.
Absolutely. So you have to wonder a little bit how locked in is Alabama for a 1 o'clock local tip on the road against Oklahoma. Well, they got shook up and woken up if they weren't ready for this.
Well, the first of the SEC Big 12 Challenge games goes to West Virginia. They beat Auburn. That game over on ESPN, which is where we're going to head in just a couple of seconds. Bruce Pearl's team made a valiant comeback against them, but unable to get it done. And Bob Huggins' West Virginia team now makes it 1-0 in favor of the Big 12. They knocked off Auburn, and with a loss, Auburn now 16-6, 6-3 in the conference. Kevin, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. Lloyd Noble Center here in Oklahoma. That's Jimmy Dykes. I'm Carl Ravitch, and we are off to a flying start. Oklahoma leading 13-6 over the number 2 team in the country. Many people will tell you they're the best team in the country, Alabama. Delighted to watch this exam. This is the SAT during the high school season. You get a chance to test your mettle against another conference.
I love the cross-reference we have going on right now in this challenge. This is an Alabama team, I agree with you. They're ranked second, maybe playing as well as anybody in the country. They've been knocked in the nose early by Boomer Sooner, knocking down a couple of threes. Oklahoma is in a desperate spot right now, needing to win like today to say we belong in that tournament. They've been close. They've had a ton of 2- and 3-point losses within their own league, and a major opportunity today, Ravi, for Porter Moser.
There'll be a turnover. The recipient of the pass came from out of bounds and then caught it first on the inbounds. Here are the close calls because Oklahoma, you take a look at it, they lost by 1 to Texas, 3 Iowa State. Kansas was a 4-point loss. Baylor 2. They led a couple of these games. They got destroyed by TCU, but TCU's beating everybody right now.
Yeah, TCU to me is the best team in the Big 12. But they have been in a ton of last possession games. Have they grown from that? Will they get to that point in this game today where they say it's time to finish one off? But the team in the gray right now, the home team, has come out firing really good with their rim protection early in this game, has Oklahoma been.
A couple of substitutions into the game as we have played 5 minutes, and for Nate Oates, Alabama, Javon Quinterly has been an absolute straw when he comes in to stir the pot offensively, get this group going, coming off one of his best games. Also in for them, Island Griffin, who Quinterly has really taken under his wing. Those two play a lot together. Quinterly has taught him a lot about life on the court and off the court as Clowney makes the second free throw. C.J. Nolan, number 22, into the game for Oklahoma. Also in Sam Godwin, who wears number 10, the junior, the Wofford transfer.
Oklahoma going smack action against that Alabama full court press, making that all-ball defender just a little bit leery of how hard do we want to press up.
Godwin down low, double team. Griffin, he goes up and grabs the rebound in traffic.
Alabama coming hard on the baseline for their double team early.
Miller behind his back, launches a 3. That's off. Griffin crashes. Gurley is there. He'll kick it. Quinterly 3. That's short. Another offensive rebound. Clowney up and in.
Those missed 3-point opportunities by Alabama normally decide the game. Can you win the foot race to the ball today if you're Oklahoma and not allow second opportunities for Roll Tide?
Pretty shot, just a little too strong. Really good move by Otega Owa.
5 or 6 times a game, Miller's going to board it and bring it. working off of a high ball screen as a 6'9" two guard. Oklahoma covers it up well.
Miller is doing an awful lot of dribbling early on here, and that time they got tied up by Godwin. So it's Griffin baseline, little dump down in traffic, and all sorts of hands bothering Clowney once he caught the basketball.
Alabama is going to shoot 28, 30 three-point shots a game. You've got to win the foot race to the ball on those long rebounds, or Alabama will punish you on second opportunities. And Clowney that time climbing on the offensive glass with a strong finish. And this is a kid, 0 for his last 16 is Clowney from the three-point line.
Yeah.
Has not shot the ball well from distance, but you don't rondo him yet. The stroke is too good. And if you're Alabama, you continue to get this guy open looks.
Wait a minute, you don't what him yet?
You don't rondo him.
What is that?
Rajon Rondo is a guy, that's a terminology that all coaches use. If the guy's a non-shooter, just short close out and dare him to shoot it. You don't rondo Clowney right now. I know he's missed his last 16 threes, but he's too good of a shooter.
Yeah. So the defense rondos the opposing
Absolutely.
player. It's not like your head coach says, hey, you're Rondo, don't shoot now.
No, exactly.
Okay.
But if you are Rondo, you got to know you're Rondo.
Ooh, Godwin, tough catch and a little too far away to finish with a flush. I tell you, Alabama is doing their best. Is this part of their game plan? Dribble through Oklahoma?
Well, no, they should not be. It's not a good game plan if so, because Oklahoma, Ravi, they're doing a good job of sprinting ahead of the ball and getting gray jerseys in the paint. A lot of traffic for Alabama to try to maneuver through early.
Dom Welch now into the game as Nate Oates goes 10 deep. 13-10, 13-10 to go. Groves, who already hit a three, penetrates, and that's an air ball.
I think Groves has to trust his shot in this game. He's a pick and pop threat, and Alabama's going to drop coverage. He'll have some more looks from three.
Foul on Cortez out top. Bijan Cortez, the sophomore, out of Kingfisher, Oklahoma.
First foul on Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
I mean, is that not?
It is. Yeah. A young Keanu Reeves. Early Matrix.
Got a lot of game, though, man. In a broken floor, fast-paced game, 14 for Oklahoma could have a big impact.
To Jimmy's point, Clowney not taking the three. He is banged hard by Groves, and a lot of one-on-one from Alabama today. Another block, Groves. Not a fluid half-court offense for Alabama to start this one at all. Give credit to the Sooners defense.
Well, Groves sets physical, hard screens, does he not? Like a snowplow.
Three ball, count that one. Jalen Hill took his time.
Oklahoma is really good at passing the basketball. They don't have that breakdown guard that can get a paint touch and start spraying it for threes. It's all off of their ball movement.
Quinterly dribbles it out of bounds. Hill, known more for his defense than his scoring, dropped a three. And we'll take a timeout with the Sooners on top, 16-10. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. Back to the Plains. Good start for the Sooners, the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Big 12 Challenge. It's presented by Continental Tire. 1-0 Big 12 as West Virginia gets the home win over Auburn.
Tanner Groves has had a good start to the game. First of all, he got a favorable call because that, to me, was an offensive charge that didn't get called. So now he stays on the floor. He has 3 blocks. His ability to attack that drop coverage of Alabama as a pick and pop big is a very big part of this ball game. He's done a tremendous job of being a solid foundation around the rim, making life difficult for Alabama's bigs to score. Great teammate, his 6th year of college ball, 35 in gray.
Yeah, and the alley-oop is a tough one to catch. They've had a couple of those. 5th game this year with 3 blocks for Groves.
Just because that's the play that's drawn up in the timeout. If it ain't there, don't throw it.
Well, Oklahoma's defense has been terrific. They've taken Alabama out of any flow. They haven't been able to run, and every one of their shots and their dribble drives have been contested. There's Groves, and another one that he altered, at least on Sears.
And a really good job by Hill to have a physical defensive rebound to clear out space.
Hard drive in traffic, and another shot missed. Alabama 3 of 15. Jimmy to start this one from the floor. 3 of 15. Miller one-on-one. Oh, he had that ball halfway down and caught too much rim. Sherfield, Hill drive, soft touch, no good. Both teams ice cold. Great hustle off the foot of Welch. What great hustle on the baseline. Add that to the Groves resume reel.
Ray, the kid's just a winner. I mean, that's probably initially an 80-20 ball, 20 being his favor to get it. But he just, the Valentine and the effort, laying out with a big body at 6'10", 240 to save it. Those are game-winning plays when you go back and watch the film later tonight.
There they are, the two brothers, Tanner and Jacob Groves, transferred from Eastern Washington.
He's already pursuing a master's in organizational leadership.
Well, he could work for us. We need some of that.
Absolutely.
At least this crew, anyway. They start at 5 of 6. They're 1 of 7. Oklahoma from the floor. Damari Burnett in 25 in white. Down low. Nope, the left-handed shot missed. They're missing shots in the paint. Godwin couldn't convert with the left hand. Easy one for Sears.
That's such a good play. That dribble hold action by Sears. Come off the ball screen, hold his defender with that butt dribble and get to the left side of the rim to finish. Tough stuff.
Sherfield kick, open three, good high arcing shot from your guy.
I just think the shooter from Kingfisher, Oklahoma has got a chance to have a good game today.
Bijan Cortez.
And Alabama has pounded the basketball. They've tested the air pressure in the ball for sure.
Sears penetrates and an easy teardrop.
Oklahoma, to me, when I watch them on film the last 3 games, they can really cover your initial action. They struggle staying in front of a good one-on-one guard.
Godwin set a massive screen that freed up Sherfield. How about Oklahoma? 5 threes to start the game. Alabama doesn't have one.
That transition ball screen by Oklahoma is doing damage. Drag screen, plow screens, whatever you want to call it, but it's getting Oklahoma guards freedom and space to operate with.
6th offensive rebound for Alabama. And Bediako puts it back in.
There it is again.
Ooh, another massive screen. Yes, it was. It was very much like the first one, but he stuck an elbow out that time.
You lower that shoulder, and you're the one that initiates the contact. That's an easy call to make out in the open floor. Here's the previous one that Godwin, that one was a close one. I think it's a legal screen, but the next one certainly was not. But man, that's a hard cover, Ravi. That's a quick transition screen by that big on the ball. And if you're late getting to it, it frees up Sherfield. Bam, you lower that shoulder. That's an easy one. All that play design is to get 25 in gray into that mid-range jump shot, which is where he's at his best.
Godwin back to the bench. Groves back into the game. They're going to get Bediako in the paint for a 3-second call. Not Big Monday. Here are your plans. The ACC Big 12 Monday doubleheader. Virginia playing really, really well under Tony Bennett and get themselves in the could win a championship kind of conversation against Syracuse at 7 Eastern time, and then Baylor and Texas in a big one in Austin at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Both games on ESPN and the app. And of course, Texas, Tennessee, a huge game as part of this SEC Big 12 Challenge.
Ravi, Tennessee's three-point defense is historical right now, 21%. They absolutely eat you up on the defensive end. And Texas is going to have to just will their way to some baskets tonight.
Yeah, Sherfield right there. He had Clowney in a mismatch, got him off his feet. Little fadeaway for 2, and Sherfield's got 6.
He lacks a burst.
Clowney still off with his shot, 0 for his last 17. Bradley had it and lost it.
Go back to Sherfield. He lacks a jet burst, but he's so clever and low and tough and strong. Can get to that mid-range, gets those defenders lunging and reaching.
And we had a first jet reference. We like that. It's going to be a foul on the floor. They're going to call that on Nimari Burnett. Coming off a wrist injury. Good to have him back. Good start. Sooners up by 8. 7:49 to go. Seatbacks up. And look at Jimmy's Jet, the debut of the Jet.
And let's start in the Big 12. In first class, they're going to be 1 or 2 seeds. The Kansas Jayhawks and Texas Longhorns, deservedly so. The Big 12 is loaded with teams in the business section. Iowa State, K-State, TCU, Baylor in that 5 and 6 seed range. Nobody in the back of the plane.
Oh, but West Virginia's waving a ticket, man.
They are. With that win today, I think I would move them from the standby list to the back of the plane for now. And Oklahoma has the same opportunity. Ravi waiting on them right now. So 6 teams on that NCAA jet from the Big 12 as we enter today. West Virginia probably made a case to make it 7. And Joe Lenardi's not in charge of my jet, but he now has them in his field.
Yeah, you're comfortable with your pilot, I can tell you that.
Well, there's a lot of ball to be played still, but obviously West Virginia now has my attention.
Oh, Hill, pretty move right by Miller. Yes, right by him.
That's a winning drive, a forceful drive with urgency.
Largest lead of the night for Oklahoma. Here's a wide open one for Clowney, and he got to roll over the rim. Amazing numbers, Jimmy, from this one. 10 of 18, Oklahoma from the field, and 5 of 6 from 3. Alabama shooting 31%, and they have not made a 3. They make a living making 3s.
They average 10 per game. You watch Alabama basketball, they are heavy on the three-point shot and shots at the rim. They stay away from the mid-range stuff. This kid does not, by the way.
And he is feeling it.
He lives at the mid-range.
Sherfield into double figures with 10. Quinterly back on the floor for Oates. Clowney. And again, now 0 for his last 18 three-point shots. Hill spin move, and then he lost it. Gurley will try. That finds the bottom. Noah Gurley knocks down a 3. Nate Oates cheers the first one from 3 that they've made.
Alabama shoot it with courage. They can miss 5 or 6 in a row. And there's no hesitation on the catch or release from Roll Tide.
Is there any carryover from a 5 for 28 three-point shooting performance?
Absolutely there can be. Oklahoma saw that game as well. And
Groves, pretty pass underneath and a lay-in from Jalen Hill. It was like in slow motion.
Hill is an absolute winner. You look at his shooting numbers on the year. High 50s, high 40, 90% from the free throw line. And a very active cutter so far in this game.
Double dribble against Bradley.
Ravi, Oklahoma's taking it right to Alabama. They are winning their one-on-one battle more than they're losing it. Hill is such a physical 6'6" kid. He gets his body beside you, it is over. And Groves, a physical guy on the inside. And then there's the cutting that I'm talking about by Hill. A mover with the ball is #1 in gray, and a mover without the ball is #1 in gray.
Oklahoma averages 67 points a game. They sit here at 30 with 5.5 to go. Pretty pass and a flush. What a great bounce pass interior, and then it was Godwin to end it.
Just carving up the #2 team in the nation so far is Oklahoma in their half-court offense.
They've made 7 of their last 7 field goal attempts. Miller with a left, no good. And we'll keep it right here.
Ravi, what's working for Oklahoma? They're just having to get to their second or third pass. These are not long offensive series. Just miscommunication that middle third of the floor. That's a hard physical roll by Godwin, a dynamic roll, rolls with a purpose. And Alabama asleep right now to start this game on both ends.
Sam Godwin, the senior, 6'10", 226. He's thrown some weight around today. We saw massive screens. One called a foul. They're a flush in traffic. That last foul was against Jacob Groves, 34 for Oklahoma.
Godwin came to Oklahoma from Wofford as a preferred walk-on. had an automatic spot. He's got automatic minutes on this team right now. And that combination of he and Groves on the inside are physical, 6'10", tough kids that are absolutely winning all the body blow plays in this game.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Try it again. You're fine. You're fine. His free throws, think about it, and then let it go. Repeat after me. Body, blows. There you go. Free throw from Clowney is good.
Is it hot in here? It feels like it's 107.
When you're running a temperature of 106, I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. Clowney knocks down another one. He is going to come out of the game. Bediako is coming in.
Ravi, to your point, look at Oklahoma. In their last 3 losses, they've scored 56, 60, and 52. Well beyond that number right now. It's good offense, but Alabama just lack of fight and digging in defensively, not connected on the defensive end so far.
Sherfield. Oh my goodness. Sherfield is on fire. 5 of 7, 13 points.
He is a tough shot maker at the end of the day.
Sears will launch right on, and he buries it. And maybe Alabama's starting to warm from the outside.
Well, the second that you switch late on Alabama, it's a 3 waiting to happen. And Nate Oates is furious right now with the defensive effort of his guys.
Sherfield matches what he had done in his previous 2 games.
Got him.
Alley-oop to Godwin.
Just keep doing it. Absolutely. If you're Oklahoma, just run that middle ball screen and punish Alabama all afternoon long.
Quinterly way off. You can feel the confidence starting to brim for the Sooners. And they're going to get Quinterly on the floor with the foul.
Having to eat on that one is a ball screen. They got a switch, got a mismatch. He had to foul. I mean, Alabama's being attracted to the ball, but they're forgetting about the roll guy time and time again. The middle ball screen has been absolutely perfect for Oklahoma in this game. Trap it, switch it, do something different if you're Alabama. That ain't working. Ball screen defense. Just in the last play, there's several things to talk about. First of all, why is Alabama going over the top of a ball screen on Milos Uzan? That's not Steph Curry. You go over the top, and now you got drop coverage by Bediako. Gurley doesn't recognize what's going on, and no one impacts the roller. You've got to stay below the roller on any ball screen action. But what are you doing on top of that ball screen initially? Going over the top. Now you got the numbers getting downhill. Alabama's got to get an answer for it. There, get under it. They go over it again.
Uzan kicks to Hill. The shooting percentages for Oklahoma have been outstanding. They've taken 7 threes, made 6. They've got 8 assists on 15 baskets.
He is good.
And Sherfield is doing whatever he wants. He's got 15.
Yeah, this kid is really good guard. And I said he doesn't have a burst. He does not have a absolute jet quick first step. But he's so strong and low and tough and knows angles.
Another turnover, Jimmy. Alabama is discombobulated, and Sherfield is 6 of 8 from the floor.
This kid is a high-volume pull-up jump shooter, get to the lane, make tough shots guy. And 25 in gray is driving it hard with his right. Everything is with his right paw. Can Alabama get that ball out of his right and make him do something going to his left?
There it is graphically. We've talked about it. A role reversal. Oklahoma has hit 6 threes, and Alabama has hit 2. They've missed 5 of them. Sherfield had only 8 points against TCU. He was 2 of 11. The 5 starters in that game, Jimmy, against TCU scored a total of 20 points.
Yeah, TCU just knocked him in the nose and ran out of the gym. Named the score. And to me, TCU's the best team in the Big 12. That's an old team, a physical team that could absolutely win the national championship. Got a mismatch off your ball screen again. Can you take advantage of it?
Sayers right in the company of Sherfield, and he gets called for being too close in a sense.
Yeah, can't straddle the leg. The defender cannot on the offensive player.
10th and final SEC Big 12 Challenge. Already 1-0 Big 12 thanks to West Virginia's win. Arkansas, Baylor next year on ESPN. Texas, Tennessee, and of course Kansas, Kentucky at 8 o'clock Eastern time. 2 more points in the paint for Oklahoma. They've got 16 now.
Oscar Tshiebwe, he may have 30 rebounds in that game, but another terrific burn the pressure off by Oklahoma out of the timeout.
Great follow by Griffin off the Miller miss. And the offensive rebounds have kept them within striking distance, but it's all Sooners. Sherfield. They're getting by their defenders. That 3 is off. The rebound, Alabama.
Sherfield is taking the ball, Ravi, anywhere he wants to take it, anytime he wants to take it.
Point of emphasis for Porter Moser during shoot-around and yesterday's practice. Get back, get back, get back. Wow, Griffin. Last 5 points for Alabama. A dunk and a 3.
They came quickly. Alabama shoot their way right back into a game. That was off of an off-ball screen, rescreen action for Griffin, who's really coming on as that 3rd, 4th perimeter shooter. Boy, when Oklahoma screens you, they tag you, don't they? It's not a touch and go.
Great play, Uson. The freshman out of Las Vegas having his way, and a dump off there to Groves. Clowney will try one more time, and that's way off.
You might consider starting to rondo him.
There you go.
He's missed his last 19 in a row.
Yes. Hill got hooked. It was Clowney who came down to help, and he literally got his arm interlocked with Hill's.
Alabama is on their heels. And there's that pressure release I'm talking about. Burn that pressure off, man. They want to overplay that corner? Fine. Come out here and guard me. I'll burn it off with a backdoor cut. And Milo Suzan gets a lane touch. Alabama rotates over with Link, but they don't rotate down physically on Groves on the backside. 2 more points for Boomer Sooner.
Jalen Hill, an 88% free throw shooter. Knocks down the first. He's 49 of 55 on the season.
Ravi, look at this guy's numbers. 55% from the floor, 43% from 3, 96% from the line in 8 Big 12 games. He only takes 8 shots a game. You'd like to see that number. I would. 10, 11 shots a game for a guy shooting that high percentage. He's an absolute winner.
And he's a terrific defensive player as well. They scored double figures, so 6 of the last 9 games, so perhaps getting that memo. 14-point lead. Bad pass. Groves with a run out. They're going to get a foul on Bradley. Now in soccer, they give you the advantage once you finish with the layup, but they don't do that in basketball, so they can be foul on Bradley.
Man, has this guy been comfortable and confident from the get-go? His step back, his ability to create his own space. Now he's worked off some hammer screens that got him freed up early. But again, everything's right-handed with this kid. And all you got to do is watch film for a couple of games and realize, take that right hand away and make him do something going left. He's going to fight for his right and go righter, and Alabama has no answer for right now. Who wants to step up for Alabama in the second half and say, let me try to choke off this guy's water, will be a big part of this game.
Sherfield has played great in 3 games against the SEC, Jimmy. He's averaged 19 points.
I think Oklahoma's 11-2 in their last 13 games against the SEC. Overall.
Griffin, tough shot, fading away. Rebound, up again. That time blocked from behind. It was Hill.
Oklahoma is the more physical team on the floor.
Without question.
It ain't even close.
And Bradley picks up his 2nd foul in the last 30 seconds.
Why are we going over the ball screen 40 feet from the rim?
Well, you mentioned, you come out of conference, and these are resume-building type opportunities. When you're playing a number 15 team in the country, Auburn, West Virginia gets a win. Certainly Oklahoma with a massive opportunity against the number 2 team in the country, Alabama.
Well, they did not play well Wednesday night. Alabama did against Mississippi State. They were lucky to win the game. They shot 18% against a good defensive ball club that made life tough on them. Now they travel to Norman, and they're just getting knocked in the nose and have no response so far with 48 seconds to go in the half.
Sherfield picks up another. And what a performance the senior has put on so far. He had 16 points in his last 2.5 games. He was 5 of 21 He's already got 16 in this game. And now 17 in the first half for Grant Sherfield. Already over his season average. And you look at the faces of Alabama, Jimmy, there's some confusion out here right now. They don't have a particular answer. Brandon Miller has been absolutely shut down. 4 points, 1 of 7.
Oklahoma, Ravi, they're being very physical with Miller. Any off ball, anything about his game right now, they're putting bodies on him.
Well, he followed up that. He was looking for a foul. And it dropped in a timeout for Oklahoma.
Well, he can't look for a foul and talk to the official. He's got to get his mind right about this is going to be a physical ball game and fight through it. Will he grow up in the second half? I've seen him do it before at Arkansas. A bad half to a good half. Ravi, here's what I'm talking about. A lot of contact on Miller in this ball game. Now, I like his second jump and his stick back. He's now 2 for 9 in the game. So a little bit of frustration. He goes right to the official. It's okay. I like guys with personality and fighting for what they think. But the bigger issue right now is I got to handle physical defense and not look for the official to bail me out. Tough kid. I think he'll adjust in the second half. I've seen him do it before.
Last 30 seconds. And the shot clock and game clock just about synced up. They can take it all the way down to the buzzer.
You think there'll be a ball screen set on this possession?
It's worked a few times in the first half.
the first
38 times.
19 minutes it's worked. They're going to pin down at some point.
No, we got 5
He's
now.
Isolating.
One-on-one. That's an easy one. Miller went to the floor. And Hill knocked it down.
I was going to say it's either an offensive foul or a flop. It's not a no call. And Alabama just compounds their problem. I mean, Hill is a physical, tough kid. 6 ticks, 240. And Porter Moser goes to elbow isolation play to let him try to close out the half. Watch Hill right here. Elbow isolation. Now he does stick that right arm out. I don't think there's enough contact for Miller to hit the floor. And this Big 12 crew calls their second flop of the game against Alabama.
Yeah, and there hasn't been one called against Oklahoma. And very symbolic of the way these two teams are playing right now. The aggressor has been Oklahoma, and they have shot the ball incredibly well. 68% in the first half. And all of them have not come from inside. They have 20 points in the paint. And the other 29 have come from either mid-range or especially outside, Jimmy. 18 of those have been 3 points.
Yeah, look at that ball movement by Oklahoma. 10 assists on their 19 makes. And then the one-on-one ability of a guy like Sherfield to finish off those other makes. 68% in the first half. It's an Alabama defense ranked inside the top 20. I still believe in defensive efficiency. I don't think they're that good. I think the numbers are a little bit of a disclaimer to how good they actually are on the defensive end. They've been exposed today in this game by the ball movement and the physical screens of Oklahoma.
Sherfield will shoot after the flop called against Miller. They put 2.9 on the clock. Sherfield buries that, and 18 points in the first half.
Ravi, a 50-piece. Oklahoma has put on Alabama in the last 3 games. Again, they've scored 56, 60, and 52 for 40 minutes.
Season high points for a half. 52 against Central Arkansas. They give it to Miller.
2 bounces and a shot.
Here it comes. Back iron. What a half for the Oklahoma Sooners. And the crowd comes to its feet, as it should. They are spanking the number 2 Alabama Crimson Tide, leading it 50-33. Kevin Connors, they did everything right. The SEC Big 12 Challenge is presented by Continental Tire. Shocking first half. Oklahoma puts 50 on Alabama, leads by 17. Alabama has trailed 3 previous times this season. They lost to Gonzaga, they lost to UConn, they beat Michigan State, and the deficit was 5. It's 17 now. What do you make of that?
Well, it's been all about Oklahoma. They have gotten anything they wanted on the offensive end. Alabama's energy has stunk, to be honest with you. Their defensive fight hasn't been there. there, and now they have dug themselves a serious hole on the road as the #2 team. A massive opportunity right now, Rowdy, for Oklahoma to say we belong in that NCAA tournament. Two guys that have answered that for Porter Moser. Grant Sherfield has just been exceptional. He's an okay three-point shooter, about 30% on his career, but he is a star now in that mid-range pull-up, getting to the right hand and making tough shots, and he's done it time and time again for Boomer Sooner in the first half. His running buddy Jalen Hill's a 6'6", 230 physical wing that can make a jump shot, but man, he really has done well in any type of body contact situation. Not only has Hill won the majority of his, but Oklahoma overall, the much more physical team in the first 20 minutes.
Oklahoma ended the half by making 13 of their last 14 field goal attempts. How important is the first couple of minutes of this half?
Yeah, it's a cliche thing to say. Man, the first 4 minutes of the second. Well, in this game, the first 4 minutes of the second half is going to tell us all we need to know. What's Alabama going to do with their energy, with their fight level, with their try level on this end of the floor?
Nate Oates got #3, Rylan Griffin, out there to start the second half. Sherfield pulls up. That's too strong. Now, Oklahoma has had struggles in the second halves of games this year. We've chronicled the close games. And Sherfield has struggled shooting in the second half. And there's a hard, aggressive take to get things going here by Griffin. Well, the numbers tell the entire story. I mean, they shot nearly 70%. Alabama missed 7 threes. They made only 3. Oklahoma jumped out in front and never really fell behind, and by 12 points, this is the largest halftime deficit of the season.
Alabama gave up 50 to a team that's averaging 64 in Big 12 play in a half.
Unbelievable. There's a call on Jacob Groves. He had a hand on Miller, and the quick whistle. That's his second. Sears is so far off to the left with that shot, and the rebound goes to Jalen Hill.
Yeah, that shot was off before it ever left his hand. It looked bad in every area of the rhythm jump shot category. Little ball screen again. What's the answer for Alabama in the second half? They switch it. Now switch back. That's better than they give up a straight line drive. There you go.
Hill, yes, sir. Count the basket. Jalen Hill having himself his best game as a Sooner this season. He's up to 15.
So, Rabbi, to Oklahoma's credit, Alabama did take away the middle ball screen action, but they stick with it and find the driver Hill again on the weak side. You get a bad closeout. One in gray reads it, and Miller called with a block.
Jalen Hill is 6 of 6 from the floor. He's got 15 and now 16.
He's such a durable kid, man. Top 10 in the Big 12 last year in minutes played, and he's right up there at the top of the league this year. 35 minutes a game in Big 12 action.
6'6", 232 pounds. Porter Moser getting the crowd into it. And again, defense extended out high. Sears into the paint, uses his body to lead into Uzon, and he knocks it down.
But Oklahoma is not letting Brandon Miller get going in this game. Jalen Hill has taken it personal, saying, I know you're a future top 3 or 4 pick. We're going to have to play through me today in Norman, Oklahoma.
Griffin went flying, and they're going to get Hill.
The moving screen got Griffin tripped up. But watch this matchup between Jalen Hill and Brandon Miller. This is an older, physical, defensive guy in Hill who's making life very tough for Miller.
Gives up 3 inches, but he picks it up 30 pounds on him.
Yeah, just body on body. Late to the
Miller.
switch.
Yeah, and he got open on that one, and he buried it.
Yeah, as soon as you start watching, and Jalen Hill got stuck just for a second. That pin down action, running to a three-point shot, is what Brandon Miller is a specialist at.
Miller's 3rd field goal of the day. He's 3 of 11, but he is streaky, and he can go when he starts knocking him down. Groves to Groves, and that's a loose ball and a turnover. Gurley down low. Clowney gets it to go.
Good run out by Clowney. I mean, Gurley is a big wing handling the ball, but Clowney runs right to the front of the rim and pivots himself to an easy 2. I talked about the first 4 minutes, how important it is. Alabama has answered that so far.
Well, they were 2 points away from making it a 20-point game, and now it's 13. Groves, good ball fake, pull up baseline, no good. We'll keep it here. There may be a push. Sears is limping for Alabama.
Watch Miller work. Here's the matchup I'm talking about. Hill is very physical, actually holding him right there to start with. Just a little bit of a pin down action by Sears to get Miller running to that three-point line. He's almost automatic when he runs to his left shoulder. That time he was running to his right shoulder, but either way, you put that guy in an open three situation, he's knocking down 63% on the year in unguarded threes.
And they're looking at Sears' left leg as Quinerly comes in for him. Groves is underneath. That's an easy one. He threw Griffin out of the way, did Hill. Miller with a soft touch.
I told you, I've seen him within the game figure out what's wrong and fix it. You might be seeing a special second half from 24 in white.
Kick open three. Around and out. CJ Nolan had an open look. Quinerly, paint. Mid-range, good from the free throw line.
You have to make a team pay when they go drop coverage or have you on a ball screen. Drop coverage gives up a jump shot to a 15-footer. And Jahvon Quinerly says, I'll take it every time.
Lead down to 11. It was 17 at the break. Sherfield, tough fadeaway, too strong. Groves with a rebound, and that's up and in.
He has, Groves, outworked Alabama so far in this game about every possession.
Paul Bunyan-esque. Gurley, wide open three. That's no good. And Miller in amongst three Oklahoma Sooners. The ball will stay with Alabama.
You say Paul Bunyan, I say good call. He's a below-the-rim guy that's just wearing Alabama out. Love the beard, love the game.
Enjoying our exclusive presentation of college basketball. It's brought to you by Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. Jimmy Dykes, Carl Ravitch, Oklahoma, the final SEC Big 12 Challenge. Next year, the SEC and ACC will get together. A win for West Virginia. Now Oklahoma trying to do the same here against Alabama. Alabama shooting a little bit better in the second half. And Brandon Miller seems to have woken up a little bit. A brutal first half. He's now up to 11 points on 4 of 12 shooting. There is this risk, Jimmy, that if somehow Alabama chips away at this, Oklahoma starts going down the deja vu drain.
Oh, you're right. All those close losses, those one-possession games that they've lost in the Big 12. Will that factor in for Alabama? It can't just be one good 4-minute segment. You've got to answer now with another 4-minute segment, and you miss one right at the rim out of timeouts.
Yeah, Dom Welch missed it, and then how about Godwin just ripping it away, and Sherfield couldn't make it. Use on the rebound. Sherfield penetrates. That's pretty.
How clever is he? That little shot fake and getting the defense off balance is exceptional so far in this game.
A good hustle by Cortez as well. Quinerly with a quieter. This crowd is ready to blow the roof off of Lloyd Noble.
Alabama has very little room, margin for error right now. You cannot miss wide open layups when you're down on the road in the second half.
And then get out hustled right for the rebound.
Absolutely, yeah. Mismatch.
It was Cortez smart. He found it. He threw it as high as he could, and Godwin just out-jumped Quinerly.
Rav, I'm so impressed with Sherfield's ability to get shots off. I mean, he is so low when he gets in traffic. He keeps that ball below his knee as a handler. He's tough, he's strong, but his shot fake and his ability to get the defense reaching and lunging really sets himself up.
Well, they set him up for a corner three, and he knocks it down. Grant Sherfield, 23 points. Two-on-one, Hill. Oh, wow! A determined dunk by Jalen Hill.
The number 2 team in the country is on the ropes.
And now they're on the ground.
Man, what a response by Oklahoma after Alabama tries to put a little game pressure on. Just a wide open jump shot. No urgency by Alabama again defensively. Let Sherfield get loose. And Jalen Hill, his dynamic duo today. Sherfield, Hill, Boomer Sooner on a roll.
The story of this game has been all about Oklahoma, and they have asserted their will every which way, including a dunk over Miller.
Well, Oklahoma has, surprisingly, they've won the run game today. And Alabama, when they score 18, 20 points within the first 5 or 6 seconds of the shot clock, they win games by double figures. They're not winning that part within the game today. It's been Oklahoma who's done damage early in that shot clock. Look at this.
Too easy.
Yeah, Alabama just, they forgot to defend today. They got knocked in the nose. They have not had a response. And again, Sherfield's ability, Ravi, to take the ball anywhere he wants has been fantastic.
Quinterly, pretty. He lays that up and in. Rylan Griffin getting a lot of minutes. Sears went out with what appeared to be a left leg injury and has not returned. That ended a 7-0 run.
Now, I think we have to remember a year ago in this challenge, Kentucky went to Kansas and won by 28. And Kansas came back to win the national championship. I'm not saying Alabama is now off the conversation for national title good, but they got a lot to answer for with 13 to go in this game.
There's no answer for Sherfield, who picks up 24 and 25 points. There's going to be 2 free throws coming from Bradley down low. But Grant Sherfield, they've just been so physical with Alabama today.
Nate Oates has no answer to put on Sherfield. Sherfield knows that no one from Alabama can guard him, and Alabama knows the same thing right now. They don't have a dude that says, "Coach, let me shut him down." He's getting the ball anytime he wants it. Once he has it, he takes it anywhere he wants it. It's an old school rear end kicking right now going on by Grant Sherfield and his buddies.
5th time that Alabama has trailed by double figures this season. They've won 2 of those games, Michigan State and Houston, and lost 2, UConn and Gonzaga. Still plenty of time in this one, but no real indication that they have an answer for anything Oklahoma is doing. They're going to get a foul. A lot of folks from Alabama thought that was a walk, but the reason it was a walk is there was a foul before it.
Do they pipe crowd noise in here? Good gracious, it's loud. I know they pump heat in here. It is loud. Man, loving this Oklahoma environment. Got away with a walk. That's okay when you're playing that well.
And Quinterly, a little frustration from Alabama there. Hill and Sherfield have been outstanding. 43 points between them. Top 20 women's basketball. The matchup tomorrow afternoon, 3 Eastern on ESPN and the app. Olivia Miles and the Irish in Raleigh. They take on Diamond Johnson, and number 20, NC State. Notre Dame has been outstanding. They've lost 2 games this season. And that was to Maryland and North Carolina. That's tomorrow. Baseline jumper, no. And an offensive foul is going to be called on the offensive rebound on Bijan Cortez. Jimmy's right, though. I mean, I'll tell you, early Keanu Reeves.
Spot on.
You're right there.
Google Keanu Reeves young and look at Bijan, and you honestly, you can't tell them apart. Bijan just has a little better handle.
He's got 3 fouls. Quinterly, and he's starting to assert himself. The poise of a veteran point guard.
Ravi, there's enough time if Alabama wants to dig in defensively and get some stops. It's just not a matter of want to, is it can you absolutely execute it? Chasing that ball screen up top, continue to go over it. Now you get the switch, and Sherfield goes to work.
Whatever he wants.
Bam!
Whatever he wants.
Easy money. Easy money all day long. Sherfield on the ball screen. So patient, surveying it, getting what he wants.
27. Boy, is this going to be a Sherfield-Quinterly match? On Quinterly quickly to double figures and taking over offensively. No one else is doing much for Alabama offensively. Sherfield sees a lane, pulls up, doesn't get the roll. Sherfield 10 of 17 from the floor. Quinterly will launch a three, way off the mark.
Alabama just fighting to try to get this game to a 10-point game with 5 or 6 minutes to go, but it all starts on this end. An Oklahoma team that has struggled to score in Big 12 play, and they're tracking 80s, if not close to 90.
Foul on Quinterly, Jimmy.
Grant Sherfield started off at Wichita State, 2 years at Nevada, and then he comes to the Big 12. His ability to dance and stay low, get the defense guessing and reaching has been spectacular. Oklahoma right now in phenomenal shape for a great win.
Yes, look at the pilot. Let's go.
Well, we had the Big 12 version. Now we got to think about the SEC. In first class coming into today, Alabama, Tennessee are 1 seeds. Even with a loss today, Alabama's going to hang in there, probably drop to a 2 seed. Back there in coach, a lot of teams in that 8, 9, 10 range. Auburn, Arkansas, Missouri, and Kentucky on standby. Florida starting to make some noise. I really like Texas A&M. We're going to have them Tuesday at Arkansas. They're playing like an NCAA tournament team. Can they keep it going? Look at this loss for Alabama. I mentioned what happened to Kansas last year in this Big 12 SEC Challenge. And they're going to have to learn from this. This game's not over. They're going to be up against physical ball clubs in that NCAA tournament just like this today, and they have not had an answer for it.
Well, there's a bit of an answer as Miller got the block there, and then he got fouled on the ground by Hill. And for Hill, that's his third.
Right, I'm telling you, just get it to 10 points, and the whole game, the building feels different. The mojo feels different for Alabama. If you're Oklahoma, man, you're punching and fighting as hard as you can to keep them at distance.
Will you feel any different if it gets to 10? Physically?
No, it's still 107 in here. And as loud as the building that I've been in. Am I wrong?
I can't hear you.
Oklahoma's going to fit in beautifully in the SEC.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, they know how to do it. And that pin down action for Miller, you got to stay on top of. Nope. He doesn't miss many of those.
Well, I tell you, Hill is really stuffing the stat line. His rebounds now 5, 18 points. Owen tries to get into the act, and he does. A hard drive, Otega Owe.
Can't guard the ball, you can't win a game. About as simple as it gets.
Bradley denied. Picked up the rebound.
You know, the rim has been open for Oklahoma a lot in this game because of Tanner Groves playing on the perimeter. This time 35 and Gray is posted up. You don't come off of him, and you do, you're coming off with a smaller guard because of the initial switch. There's no rim protection for Alabama, and Oklahoma sees it well. Who's Jalen Hurts cheering for right now in this game?
That's a good, I don't know. I mean, you ended Oklahoma.
Is he watching?
He's got a game tomorrow. He's probably preparing, but I would imagine it's on somewhere, right? Probably on a screen somewhere. Went to Alabama and Oklahoma. Now going to play for an NFC championship and a ticket to the Super Bowl. Got 10 minutes to go. Hill, body again. Left hand, no good. Loose ball. Here's Griffin.
To Porter Moser's credit, he's kept his offense pretty simple today. Just finding guys, isolation, letting them go to work. This would be big.
Sears came in. A lot of folks. Griffin shot that, came down in his hands after an air ball.
And Alabama now 4 out of 15 from the three-point line. Back-to-back games, they have really struggled from distance.
Yeah, and that is obviously their kryptonite. If you're not making your three-point shots, you're such a different team.
What a flash.
Yes. Owe, and he goes to the ground. We talk about Jalen Hurts. Otega Owe's, look out, hold on a second. Underneath, some action with Gurley.
At the end of this play, Otega Owe gets knocked to the ground, and then Groves has a little bit of a push and a second push from behind by Gurley, and A lot of John, a little separation going on there. Good job by Doug Sermons to get in the middle of it before it escalates even higher.
Oweh's brother Odafe, of course, plays for the Baltimore Ravens in the NFL. And there's Groves trying to grab the ball from Bradley, and it's Gurley who comes from the backside to bump him. And after that, Groves just kind of went over to his bench.
Well, there will be dead ball contact technical fouls assessed as they're at the monitor for the review. Frustration starting to boil over now, even more so for Alabama.
Yeah, your point is very well taken, though, Jimmy. Big picture about Alabama, who has been a #1 seed for most of the season and the SEC's dominant team. Back-to-back games as we reach the 9:28 mark that they have been terrible from three-point land. And this is a team that makes a living running, gunning, and knocking down threes.
And that's why it's hard to be all in on Alabama as a national champion contender. Have they been playing like a #1 team in the country? They have, but when you're that reliant on the three ball, it shows up in a game like this. They've had 6 quad 1 wins. I believe Purdue leads the country with 8.
Yeah.
And they're #2 in the ranking, which if this thing doesn't flip around quickly, that's not going to hold its course. Still an awful lot of talent. They're young. You start 3 freshmen. Transfers have come in, but they have hit adversity. A big red great wall in the form of the Oklahoma Sooners today.
They give Porter Moser credit, right? I mean, no question about it. He had a defensive game plan, and it wasn't just get out and make sure they don't shoot it. It was don't let them shoot it when they run with it.
I've known Porter Moser for a long time, and I walked in here yesterday about 2 o'clock, and they walked out of here about 5 o'clock. He has put in a ton of time in this game planning. Hold on.
Common foul, 0 Alabama. We have a double technical foul, 0 for Alabama, 35 for Oklahoma.
Say it again.
Yeah, I mean, that's ideally put the headset on and let him explain it.
That's a lot to explain, Doug. Tell me real quick.
Common foul on 0 for Oklahoma.
Yep.
Then we have a double technical foul. Common foul on 0 for Alabama. Then we have a double technical foul, 0 for Alabama, 35 for Oklahoma. Then we have a dead ball contact technical foul on number 4 for Alabama. So we're going to shoot the 2 free throws for the common foul, the 2 free throws for the dead ball contact technical foul, and because it involved contact, Oklahoma will get the ball underneath the basket.
You sound like a guy that's read the rule book.
Yeah, that just made sense because he was bleeding through the microphone. May as well just give him the headset and let him explain it. They do that in other leagues.
That was tremendous, and a lot to those guys to work through and how quickly they worked through all that.
Yeah.
We weren't sitting here for 3 or 4 minutes. And man, you talk about the common foul that's going to shoot the free throws for, and then the offsetting technical fouls and the dead ball contact technical. Doug Sermon's one of the best in the country. I'm not just saying that. Like, he's as good as anybody out there, and any head coach would want him on any game at any time.
A 21-point lead for Oklahoma over Alabama. And the best game that Jalen Hill has had in a Sooner uniform. They have been the more physical team by far.
No back down, and Alabama typically a team, and they don't back down either, but that's a cheap shot from behind by Gurley with a shove in the back, and that's when it starts to escalate. And Doug gets in there and separates it to keep from going higher. A 22-point lead against the #2 team in the country. No one, no matter what they say, saw this coming today.
Iowa State trailing at Mizzou. Auburn obviously lost. Griffin, quick 3, no good, and into the hands of Sherfield, who didn't even leave his feet.
And that's almost, you can start counting the number of possessions in this game for Porter Moser. That's such a good mind offensively, how to keep your team aggressive, Keep the ball in the hands of Sherfield. Don't get live ball turnovers. Shorten this game now as much as you can with 8:35 to go.
Sherfield knocks another three right in the face of Bradley.
Just keep it simple. Let 25 in gray do work.
Foul on Oweh.
One of the better individual performances we've seen all year in college basketball. I mean, he's got 8.5 minutes to go, and this kid's got 30 on the #2 team in the country in a must-win situation for Oklahoma. Again, he's not the quickest, fastest athlete on this floor. He would probably finish 5th or 6th overall if you just lined him up in a test. But Ravi, his ability to handle that ball and stay low and jab step you, head fake you, ball fake you, get you leaning, just create space. A tough shot maker is Sherfield.
It's amazing, too, Jimmy, as we talked about the 2 games he was coming off of, including the game against TCU, in which he had only 8 points.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing at the end of that game. They were kind of letting him sit on the bench and think about things. And when we asked Porter this morning about Sherfield, he's struggling, he'd say, well, it's not exactly struggling. It's when he does struggle, he lets it impact every other part of his game.
Yeah, that's a great point. And obviously the scoring has been there today, but I think he's fought defensively. Well, you can't win in a league like the Big 12 when your lead guard, his emotions swing with his shot going in or not. And that's been Sherfield just a little bit at times.
Yeah, Oweh fell down and did not get the timeout called, so a turnover there. Sherfield is 1 shy of his career high of 31.
I mean, Oscar Tshiebwe the other night, 37 points and 24 rebounds.
Right.
Was an unbelievable performance. But Sherfield for a guard in a big game,
a huge game.
Yes. Answer the bell.
Quinterly settles for a 2, which is just going against the Alabama grain, a mid-range 2. Sherfield, pretty pass. Oh, the rim denied the dunk of Sam Godwin. Too open.
How good is Sherfield with his right hand? Well, Alabama knows he is a right-handed star. Off the bounce, off the shot, off the pass. Best defense so far in the second half has been the rim.
Sure is, Kevin. Thank you very much. Been a dynamite performance for the Oklahoma Sooners. Back here with Jimmy Dykes. And later, Texas, Tennessee, Kansas, Kentucky. That game at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We can start to focus a little bit on those 2 games and what they will mean as long as Oklahoma continues to have its way with an Alabama team that's got their heads hung a little low right now. See their body language on that free throw line.
Yeah, not good. The guys were talking about Baylor. Baylor had 17 offensive rebounds on 42 missed shots when they played Kansas. Think about the rebound numbers that Tshiebwe could put on Kansas if they don't have an answer for him.
Game at Rupp Arena, where Kentucky's 11-1 this season. Jacob Toppin will be pressed into his defensive mode again. Good pass down low. Great hands, and he's been really good all day. Sam Godwin when he's had a chance.
Half of Oklahoma's baskets have been off of an assist, and basically the other half have been off of Sherfield operating one-on-one. They have just carved up Alabama defensively, who came in and the top 30, top 40 defensive club. But their ball movement, getting that thing side to side, it all starts with Sherfield going to his right, finds Cortez, and Godwin in that empty corner roll. That empty corner ball screen action has bothered Alabama all year long.
25-point lead, Jimmy, for Oklahoma over Alabama. And the free throw's not falling for Alabama. Nothing falling. Their three-point shooting back-to-back games has been a huge issue, Jimmy. 4 of 17 today, 5 for 28 in the Mississippi State game.
Yeah, if that becomes a trend, Alabama, you have to figure out another way to win a ball game.
Gonna find a new location on your jet.
Yeah. Don't store your. None of those teams can store their luggage right now. Just sit there. Might be able to serve you a Diet Sprite or something, maybe a few nuts, but don't get comfortable where you are. It's still January.
People drink Diet Sprite?
Oh, I do.
Oh, you do. Look at Sherfield spin to win.
Magician. So impressed with Oklahoma's running the defense to get out in front of the ball. Clowney still. What is he now, Ravi? 0 for his last 20?
Foul against Alabama. Amari Burnett was reaching over the back, so that's going to send us down the other end. Jimmy, you ready for Djokovic and Tsitsipas? This is your Australian Open Men's Championship. You can crack open your Diet Sprite around 3:15 a.m. and then lock in to what should be an outstanding Men's Championship. The finals, Djokovic looks as good as he's ever looked. He's healthy again. So at 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I'll text you to make sure you're up, and we will lock in on the
Let's watch it.
Men's Championship.
Yeah.
From Melbourne.
That's 2:30 my time, so I'm good still.
The narrative around college basketball, especially as we dive really deeper into conference play, how quickly it can change as Miller throws a line drive at the rim, and that's well short, and a rebound for Oklahoma. But about a week and a half ago, Kentucky-Kansas was a non-starter.
It was.
And now all of a sudden, Kentucky, I've seen the spread go from they were a 1-point dog to now maybe a 1 or 2 point favorite. It keeps switching.
We saw Kentucky at their rock bottom low when they lost to South Carolina on their home floor. From that point forward, John Calipari's gone with 5 guys that know how to win. And Wheeler, accepting his role off the bench, has flipped their season, stepped out of bounds. Alabama just cannot get out in the open floor and score early. I talked about it in the first half, Ravi. When Alabama scores 18, 20 points a game off of their run game within the first 5 or 6 seconds, they win by double figures. You take that away from them and put them in the half court, now all of a sudden you got to see what does Alabama have to answer with.
How dominant has this game been for Oklahoma? Alabama's led for a total of 29 seconds. Five on the shot clock, and it's going to be Hill who'll fire a 3. That's in! Boy, Jalen Hill is having an unbelievable game. He is 2 for 2 from 3, but 80%, 8 of 10 from the field. A 30-point lead. And his 23 is a career high. Burnett no good. Rebound Groves.
You know, I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
You were born in Tulsa?
Yeah, I remember this Boomer Sooner chant when I was a little kid. Tinker Owens and watching those guys play football. Wayman Tisdale in basketball. A few years later. And then they have answered the challenge today. There's not a team in the country that had a better opportunity coming in than Oklahoma. You got the number 2 team on your home court. You're being projected as one of the first 4, 5, 6 teams out of the tournament right now. And man, did Porter Moser go to work yesterday at 2 o'clock, and this morning in their shoot-around, we knew Oklahoma was ready.
He looked very confident, and he knew if we could get him to do what we think we can get him to do, we got a real good chance to win. And here's the projection, next 4 out. Now, we already heard West Virginia was a bubble team that Joe Lunardi, after their game and the win against our, moved him in. You got to believe that Oklahoma position will change dramatically.
And then in life in the Big 12 comes right back at you. Feels like, to me, a must-win. You finish this thing off, can you then do it again against Oklahoma State on your home floor?
If they don't finish this off,
yeah, it's something bad.
We have a story. Quinterly's finger roll doesn't go.
But look at
you
that.
Talk about the history, Jimmy. I mean, Moser steps in here from Loyola Chicago in the sort of shadows of the Billy Tubbs, Kelvin Sampson, Lon Kruger eras that were very successful here, where NCAA tournament appearances and occasional Final Fours were expected. What Oates has done at Alabama, three things have changed. He's changed what Alabama's perception is as we are only a football school.
Right.
They do basketball. He's changed the SEC dramatically. It's not just Kentucky's world, it's Alabama's world. And he's changed nationally that they're a 1 seed. Moser's, in a sense, trying to do similar here. And obviously Oklahoma's moving to the SEC, but can it become a quasi-basketball school again with what obviously is a football school? Can he change the Big 12 and the way it's looked at with Kansas's world, and then can he do it nationally?
Absolutely. Oklahoma can become a basketball school again under Porter Moser. I think he's very happy here in Norman. Got 4 kids. His son's on the men's team. His oldest daughter's on the women's team. He has a plan and a vision for Oklahoma basketball moving to the SEC. Does he have to get faster athletically? Yes. But it did not hurt them today. They're not the most athletic team on the floor today, but they are by far the better basketball team overall on the floor today. They're spacing, understanding where they want to score from. Tanner Groves, we talked about him a lot, not so much as a scorer, but he has set the tone as much as anybody.
Amari Barnett, he got his hands up like, what am I supposed to do? Paul Bunyan's underneath that basket. I can't move him. Where's Blue? Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, and a must-have for Big 12 basketball fans. How's this? Tuesday night, Kansas State. Allen Fieldhouse. Coverage starts 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Sign up at ESPNplus.com/Big 12 now. K-State beat Kansas in overtime January 17th. Keontae Johnson, a great feature today on College Game Day on Keontae Johnson and the road he's had to travel from his collapse at Florida to his celebration at Kansas State and the impact player that he has become. Kansas, how they feeling right now? You get Kentucky, and then you get Kansas State the next game.
Well, they better get their eyes on Kentucky, first of all. That matchup between, I think Jacob Toppin on Jalen Wilson is one of the better matchups one-on-one in this entire challenge. Maybe we shouldn't be so surprised by this outcome right now. The 30-point difference, no one saw that coming. But we got to go back and think how close Oklahoma has been to knocking off quality teams. A 1-point loss to Texas, 3-point loss to Iowa State, a 4-point loss at Kansas. I mean, they've been right there with the best. A 2-point loss to Baylor. And I don't Alabama had their minds right on this game. Would be a question.
Put back up and in by Pringle into the game for Alabama. No, it's a good point. They didn't shoot around this morning, Alabama. Oklahoma did. And again, back-to-back rough games. 5 of 28, 4 of 20. The last 2 games from three-point land.
I'm just saying, when you're trying to coach a bunch of guys and you're 18-2 with a number 2 beside your name, you're on the road against a team that's 11-9, 2-6. Do you really have your guys locked in and have their attention? Easier said than done.
Quinterly grabbed the hand of Hill, and Hill will shoot a couple of free throws with 3 minutes and 2 seconds to go in this one. And Oklahoma get some fans starting to think about maybe storming the court against a victory here on number 2 team Alabama.
How good was Porter Moser his last 4 years at Loyola Chicago? Three conference championships, 6 NCAA wins, 2 Sweet 16s, and the appearance in the 2018 Final Four. Talking to Joe Castiglione, the longtime AD here at Oklahoma. So, man, your hire Porter Moser was as good as there is, and he's got the fans believing today.
6 NCAA tournament wins since 2018. 52 years young, 17 years a Division I head coach. He worked for Rick Majerus at St. Louis, played at Creighton. And here's a steal, a 2-on-1 Sherfield alley-oop, and a kiss off the window from Hill. They'll slow it down now. Sherfield 30 points, Hill 23, Tanner Groves 14. They got an exclamation point in them.
Maybe more than one. And this has been all, to me, it's been all about Oklahoma. I know Alabama hasn't played their best, but that's on them. Oklahoma did what they're supposed to do. They came out and they kept their offense simple. They were the aggressor from the get-go. They locked up Alabama on the defensive end, and this kid with the ball has been spectacular. No answer for guarding 25 in gray all afternoon long.
11 of 19, 4 of 5 from 3 for Sherfield. No good, out of bounds. It'll go Alabama's way.
Sherfield comes out, this building should erupt.
Yeah, well, Hill and Sherfield both.
Yeah, both. Yeah, absolutely. There it is.
Season high in points, nearing 100. Shot 59%, the best since the win over Central Arkansas, and the 56 combined for the two guys that just got a standing ovation. Well, I think Griffin was determined.
He was to get a shot
off.
Well, if Nate Oates didn't have his guys' full attention coming in, he will now. If they just ran out of the gym and got embarrassed by an Oklahoma team that was not in the NCAA tournament projection-wise coming in.
You look at some of the numbers. Jimmy Bradley, 1 point, 0 of 3. Bediako, 4 points in 7 minutes of play. Noah Gurley, 3 points. That shot will roll in. Brandon Miller ends up with 11, 4 of 14 from the floor. They're going to have to figure out how to turn the page. I mean, make some shots from the outside.
And they have started the SEC chant Oklahoma has. I'm not sure what message they're sending there. They know they're going to that league, but man, the SEC Big 12 Challenge today, there won't be a bigger statement made all day long than what Oklahoma just has made in the last 2 hours.
Joe Bamisile tries to get into the action, but he is blocked. Now he may try to return the favor to Welch. No. Under 30 to go, and Griffin's finger roll is good. He's starting to pile up some numbers, at least as far as points go, but that should do it.
There is going to be an attempt to keep the students off the floor. I'm not so sure how good it's going to go.
The Oklahoma Sooners in the SEC Big 12 Challenge, a conference they're soon going to be a part of, by 24 points, wipe out the number 2 team in the country, Alabama. Final score 93-69, and here they come.
It's not successful.
No.
They deserve it. In every area, they deserved a party in Lloyd Noble Center.
So as the fans gather at center court, players join in the celebration. Signature win for Porter Moser. That's Oklahoma. Gives the Big 12 a 2-0 lead in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. For Jimmy Dykes, I'm Carl Ravitch, our entire production crew. Yes, Charles, our director for the day, and Scott Matthews, our producer. It continues right now.